You're listening to the Sugarcane podcast, where you get all of crypto's tastiest tidbits. Here's your hosts, Sheldon Trotman and Rudy Dogum.
Sheldon, what is Rocketpool?
So Rocketpool is, if you look back at like previous episode we did around staking and what that meant, proof of stake, right? So Ethereum itself, as a recap, they're a proof of stake network. So essentially what that means is instead of having to run a bunch of computation to actually get the network to stay stable and actually progress it forward, what Ethereum does is that it allows people to stake assets. So you have to buy Ether essentially and put it in like almost like escrow. And by putting it in escrow, you're securing the network and you're basically doing computation on the network, right? You're essentially having a pro rata right to collect all the transactions together and create the next block, right? Listen to our previous episode if you want a more like deep dive on like what that means and how that works. But Rocketpool is one of the providers where people can actually stake their Ether with. And what they're given is interesting because they're given what's called the receipt token. So essentially it's called liquid staking token. And that liquid staking token is basically the yields that you get back from the act of staking. It's basically like the APYs, like the return that you get back for providing service to the network.
Gotcha. So as a user, I can go on Sugarcane, say I want to convert my Ethereum to Rocketpool's token, which is RETH, the liquid staking token. And I am therefore contributing to that staking environment, staking network.
Yeah. So what that works technically speaking, the way it works technically speaking is that like the actual Rocketpool protocol, what they do, they basically allow people to provide Ether as like a means to allow other people who are running infrastructure to create nodes, right? So like in a sense, you're not actually the one running the node. You're not actually pulling up a Raspberry Pi or old laptop and running the Ethereum protocol on your computer. What you're doing is basically saying, hey, I have money. I want to provide my money as like as a part of someone else's infrastructure to have them run a node. Because in order to run a node, you need 32 Ether. And so you're basically contributing to the 32 Ether requirement for their node to be able to run and provide value to the Ethereum network. And so you're essentially saying, hey, as I am Sheldon, I have $100 in USDC. I want to actually provide that $100 worth of value to the Rocketpool protocol to actually secure Ethereum.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And is it like how does Sugarcane find where to get RETH?
Yeah. So in a sense, if you look back to also our previous episode around like DEXs and decentralized exchanges, the RETH token, so Rocketpool, the Ether to RETH token, that's essentially what provides your value to the Rocketpool protocol, right? So what we use at Sugarcane is that we use a decentralized exchange. Think of like Uniswap, for example, where we take your Ether or we take your USDC and we take that, put that as an input in, and we ask for our ETH back. So now you, as a person who's using Sugarcane, you're actually doing the act of swapping from whatever token you have, let's say again USDC or Ether, into the RETH product, and you're providing value to the Rocketpool protocol, and you're getting the yields, the returns back for staking. So like you're getting exposure to staking without having to run any of the infrastructure. So that's kind of the middle ground of like being able to provide value to people who are running infrastructure, but also getting back a return because you're still providing value to the network.
Yeah, that's nice because now I don't have to go onto some other website to connect my wallet to then approve a transaction, sign it just to get RETH. I can do it all in one shot.
Yeah.
For Sugarcane handling all the complexities, and I kind of get all the rewards and benefits from it.
Yeah, I mean, you essentially are still able to get all the staking yields. Like, for example, right now in November of 2023, they're roughly about 3 to 4% in ETH terms returns, ETH returns. So like you still get the RETH and ETH return value back to you. And you don't have to think about the DEX that's being used. You don't have to think about the bridges. You don't have to think about the gas that's being paid. You're just able to see, hey, I have 100 USDC and I click stake, and now I get back and I see I have 1 point whatever amount of RETH, and you can see that value increasing over time.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And yeah, thank you for building that out because it just makes my life easier now. I can just stake whenever I want to without having to worry about everything else around it.
Yeah. And they're one of the more decentralized staking protocols, right? So like if you're in the staking ecosystem, you kind of hear of like different names like Rocketpool, you hear of like Stakewise, you hear of like Lido, which is also other providers in the staking context. Rocketpool is one of the more trusted ones. They've been around for a while. They're more decentralized. So that's why we provide them and support and show that within the actual mobile app itself.
Nice. Well, I hope if anyone else is building and using our ETH or Rocketpool, let us know. And I know the Rocketpool community very well is super welcoming, super inviting, and they're happy to help you build. And if you need an intro to that, let us know.
Yeah, they're really, really welcome community. They're cool. They're they're very helpful. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.